What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and daily news report for Sunday, November 7th. We have some major updates today. First off, I'm going to talk about the stimulus package. I want to give you some updates there, what Democrats are discussing at this time, which is kind of shocking, but I want to bring this update to you. We're also going to dive into a supply chain warning that we are now starting to see as these companies start opening up these containers from the container ships that have been sitting for weeks or potentially months. We also know that one senator is bashing the richest person in the world, Elon Musk, because of him potentially selling 10% of his Tesla stock. And then I got some daily news for you as well. So first off, thanks for watching. Hopefully you have had a great weekend so far. If you enjoy these daily uploads, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button. It really does help out the channel. Now, let's get into the update. According to many Democratic aides who didn't want to be named, and I understand why, they are now saying that lawmakers made the decision to pass the bipartisan infrastructure bill because it was right in the middle of what both sides wanted. It was the negotiation. But here's the thing that's somewhat shocking. They're deciding right now whether or not to pass such a controversial infrastructure bill that is leaning more towards one side because they say this has the chance of potentially leading to additional inflation. Yes, and this is what Senator Joe Manchin has been saying for a couple of months, is that we need to consider the ramifications of passing a $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill that's basically most on social spending. It will cause additional inflation. Even though we are seeing that this bill is supposed to be fully funded, and there's actually we are going to pay off some of our deficit because of this bill. But the issues are not for this year, not for next year, but what happens if some of these provisions are extended? What happens if the child tax credit payments get extended for an additional 1 to maybe 3 years? It makes the bill more expensive. That's what Senator Joe Manchin's worried about. But as of right now, that's not what's in the discussions. What we know as of right now is that moderate Democrats in the House knew that Democrats would lose the governor race in Virginia. They knew it. It wasn't an inclination that they had. They knew for a fact that they were going to lose. But why? This was all due to the fact that the American people weren't wanting to see so much additional spending. That's not what the American people want. Even though all the polls are saying that yes, the American people want to see this $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill pass. No, that's not what all the polls are saying. The majority of polls are indicating that yes, the American people want these bills to pass. They want them to pass together. Why? Mainly, in my opinion, and after reading a lot of different articles, looking at some research from other polls as well, is that the American people wanted these bills to pass because there was not much in these bills for the American people. They want to get rid of these bills, whether they pass them or they just discard them, doesn't matter. Just move on to the next one. Figure out a way to get more to the American people, because as of right now, we're not getting much. Right now, what I can tell you is these bills were not heavily pushed. The American people weren't really excited about these bills because there wasn't much in it for them. And that's kind of how things go. If there's not much in it for us, we're just not going to support it. And if Democrats pass these bills that there's nothing in it for the American people, what's going to happen when it comes time to vote? Who do you think the American people are going to choose? Probably whoever was not in that seat before, who was not making that decision prior to that day. Whether it's a Republican or a different Democrat, doesn't matter. They're going to try to make a change. So we'll see what happens there. So this is, according to reports, why many progressives keep on saying the only way to get the American people back on their side is to provide more for them. So we need to go all the way over. We need to stop playing in the middle. Senator Joe Manchin needs to understand that we cannot be messing around in the middle. Again, this is coming from reports out of the progressive camp. So this includes, let's provide more money for unemployment. Whether or not that includes a weekly bonus doesn't matter, but let's provide more money to the self-employed, gig workers and freelancers. If you are, when it comes time to vote, you are a self-employed person, chances are, in many cases, you're going to try to vote Republican, not Democrat. So that's the issue there is, should we provide more to the people that are most likely going to vote against us? Yes or no? It's up for discussion. But as of right now, there's nothing in the next human infrastructure bill for unemployment benefits. There's talks, there's discussions, but there's nothing going in there as of yet. They also say let's get money to people on Social Security, because Social Security benefits just don't pay what they need to at this time. We know there's going to be a pretty good increase to the Social Security benefits coming in 2022. The problem there is we're also going to see increases in prices, right? What, Medicare Part D? That one's going to increase. We know food, services, gas, right? Property taxes, everything's going to increase. So really, does your $92 additional dollars per month, is it going to be $92? I was reading the comment yesterday. Somebody said after factoring in all of her additional expenses, she's going to receive about $34 extra per month. $34, so about $1 per day. The dollar per day is not going to get you very far. We also know progressives are saying that we need more assistance for housing. $150 billion is not enough. However, that is the negotiation. That was the kind of that sticking point. That's where we can agree on $150 billion. But what we know as of right now is one of the reasons we're seeing supply chain issues, we're seeing there's worker shortages across the nation, is because a lot of people have moved from one city to the next, maybe from a more expensive city to a cheaper city. The problem is after they moved during the pandemic to save money, they moved in with friends and family members, right? Try to find something a little bit less expensive. The problem is prices continue to go up for real estate. And now there's less inventory than ever before. But the problem there is the prices are increased. There's less inventory. There's just as many buyers. So what we're hearing is that workers cannot go and move back to those cities because there's no place to live, no affordable place to live. So they stay put. And this is why many are just going to live with their friends and their family members until they can finally get a job that will pay them a decent wage, where hopefully they can go and get a house. But again, a lot of issues. Moderates also agree that we should provide more stimulus to the American people, but it needs to come with the stipulation that we need to have increased means testing. This has to be the only way to move forward. So as of right now, moderates say that yes, we do not oppose additional assistance. We don't oppose helping out the American people, but it has to come with means testing, because Democrats say we gave away way too much money in this past year. We've given away way too much money to people that did not need it. So we'll see what happens there, but honestly, there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of discussions going about as to how we move forward. But here's something that I bet you didn't know. Okay, and I was looking into this today because I thought, you know what? I haven't heard a lot of stories about this. But I was looking into this today because the Treasury is now looking at the remaining funds from the rental assistance programs. Do you know how much money has been spent of that $46.6 billion that was supposed to go to rental assistance to provide for those that had the potential that they could have been evicted, or they have been evicted at this time? Well, as of the end of September, only $10.3 billion was spent of the $46.6 billion fund. And so what we're hearing right now is that state and local programs are now being almost mandated to use it or lose it. They either have to use their funding, or the Treasury Department will take the money back and put that into something else. According to multiple reports, the Treasury is looking at different ways to seek more funding, because they are trying to ensure that the government can continue to pay its debts even after they reach that debt ceiling, which could come as soon as December 3rd. So right now, the rental, and I've been saying this for probably 6 months, 8 months, the rental assistance program, honestly, it's flawed. There's a lot of issues there. And let me know down in the comment section below. Have you tried to apply for rental assistance and either got denied or asked for additional paperwork, or you have not received a response? Let me know down in the comment section below, because I've been seeing a lot of people have just not got a response. And so that's crazy to me. In other news, and this is something I addressed yesterday as well, the richest person in the world, Elon Musk, he asked people on Twitter to decide whether or not he should sell 10% of his stock in Tesla in order to pay, pretty much in order to stop the talks that he's trying to avoid paying taxes, simply because he has those unrealized capital gains. Well, so far this morning, there's been over 3 million people that have voted on this. total? And the answer on Twitter is yes. Sell 10% of your Tesla stock. So it's actually, it's a pretty widespread. 57% say yes, sell it. 43% say no. So here's what I can tell you. Right now, the expectation is if he sells, and he'd sell, we do not know if it would be just sell it all, the 10% within the first day. That might be very difficult because he'd be selling about $25 billion in Tesla stock. The amount of shares that he'd be selling is the normal daily amount over the past week. I think average weekly or whatever. That would be what is sold in a day, the volume in a day. And so there'd be so much downward pressure from selling, especially just from Elon Musk himself, it would probably shoot Tesla stock down. It could go down 10, 20% in a day easily. So some are worried that this is going to happen. So this could actually get some pushback from other people as well. But this is also getting pushback from senators. What we know is Elon Musk is trying to make lawmakers happy. Okay, you think I'm trying to avoid taxes? Well, here, let me do this. I'll pay taxes. Fine. Right? And you can take these taxes and you can put it into whatever bill, right? The government has more money. Great. Well, this should make lawmakers happy, but the answer is no. Senator Ron Wyden said that this was a simple stunt by Elon Musk, and Wyden went on to say, and I quote, "Whether or not the world's wealthiest man pays any taxes at all shouldn't depend on the results of a Twitter poll. It's time for the billionaires' income tax." One tax expert pointed out this fact. Lawmakers keep on using polls to determine what the American people want. Right? It makes sense. We've been doing this for years. Nothing new. But most of the polls include at most tens of thousands of results of people's responses. Tens of thousands. And yet their results come back and overwhelming majority say we need to pass this bill. Overwhelming majority say we need to do this. Well, here's the facts. With Elon Musk's poll, it has over 3 million votes as of this morning. When I checked last, it's probably about 3.5 million. What we know is that Senator Ron Wyden and others, they want to see the billionaires tax included into this next human infrastructure bill. But the problem is that the Senator Sinema, she doesn't support this, right? We know Senator Joe Manchin, he doesn't like the idea of targeting specific groups like billionaires. He doesn't think that's fair. But here's the thing. Elon Musk, his poll, has 3 million votes. This shows that yes, an overwhelming majority want him to sell 10%. But if we look into this and look at a little bit deeper, why do they want him to sell 10%? Is it to actually pay taxes? My expectation is no. Half of these people, I'm just throwing out half, but again, I don't know the for sure numbers. Let's say half these people want him to pay taxes. Fine. What about the other half? Maybe they realize, you know what? Tesla is on its way up. Tesla is going to go to the moon. Tesla is going to be at $2,000 per share very soon. But they missed the boat when they didn't buy in when it was 600. They didn't buy in at 700. Didn't buy in at 8 or 9 or even 1,000. And so now what do? They just force Elon Musk to sell his shares. The price will come down, they'll buy in, and then they'll ride it back up, right? So even this poll doesn't give us great clarity as to really what the American people want, but lawmakers are going to use it as it is. Now, here's your supply chain issue warning. Okay. Over the past few weeks, what we've been seeing is companies keep saying that there's nothing to worry about. We have all the products we need. They're just sitting on the containers or on the container ships in the containers. Everything's going to be fine. We've ordered enough products. Everybody's going to have everything that they need for this upcoming holiday season, for this winter, right? Don't worry. You're going to have your heaters. You're going to have your leg warmers. You're going to have everything you need, right? Christmas gifts, everything. But all these companies knew that the products that they had were sitting on the container ships. They weren't in warehouses, they were on the ships. So, as these containers are being offloaded, companies are now starting to see that what their product looks like. They're starting to see that their cargo, in some cases, has been damaged, it's moldy, okay? So it's unsellable, or it's missing. It's missing because we've seen, especially with the oceans and everything, some containers are just flopping off the ships. They're just falling off the ships as they cross through the Pacific Ocean. Big issues. So, many companies have been relying on these products to fill their shelves. But here's the issue. When, let's say, 5% of these products are unsellable, or they are not in the hand of the buyer, of the retailer, this means that the American people are going to have less products to choose from. And, according to reports, the cost of these products are going to increase once again. So here's my warning to you. Right now, if there's something that you need, whatever it may be, consider buying it if you can afford it right now. Don't wait. Again, it doesn't matter what it is, because according to the experts, they are saying the expectation is there will be less products, they'll be more expensive, and the demand will only increase. Those are the three things that they're saying. So as of right now, just understand, if you are to buy something, chances are you are not going to get it at a discount. But even so, you will at least have the product in case you need it. Doesn't matter if it's a shaver, doesn't matter if it's an alarm clock, doesn't matter if it's a car part for your car. Get whatever product it is that you need, get it as soon as you can, because if you wait, that may be the chance, or that may be the possibility where you don't actually get the product that you need, which if it's something for your car and you can't go to work, well, that causes major issues. So that's what we know as of right now. But as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next